Hello, I'm Elaine, and I'm a tour guide in the French Quarter. I do ghost tours, and I am not going to tell you the stories that I tell on my tour because you got to pay for those. But if you want to hear some interesting things that have happened to me while I'm leading random drunk people around the French Quarter, I got you.
I love my job, but I will admit, there are parts of my job that I love less, and tonight reminded me of one of them. So it is pouring down rain tonight and a little bit cold, but that's not the problem. I absolutely love doing tours in the rain. It has all the right vibes, and also it just pretty much guarantees that the only people who are going to be on the tour are those who are actively interested in being there, because you'd be surprised how many people book tours and seem not at all interested in being there. And when it's raining, those people don't leave the hotel room. But one thing that is a downside of the rain is people tend to arrive late when it's raining. So we're getting close to start time, and I've been standing out there for like 15 minutes, and I have yet to see a single one of my guests. And I'm sitting here like, is anyone coming? Because I do want to work tonight. And finally, a guy walks up, and he walks by quickly enough that I was pretty sure at the beginning he was not my guest. But then he was just sort of standing not too far away, so I had to turn and be like, "Hey, sir, are you here for a tour?" And he came over and was like, "What? I'm up for anything." And I'm like, "No, sir, have you booked a tour? Are you here for the tour?" And he's like, "What is it? Tell me all about it." And he's smiling a mile wide and standing a bit too close, and I'm not that, out of it. I can tell that he's trying to flirt with me, but I have to be polite because he might be a guest or a prospective guest. So I explained to him, like, this is a ghost tour. But before I could even get further than that, he interrupts me to be like, "Ghosts love me. You see, I've seen some shit in my life, and they can just tell, and they know, and so they love me." And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Do you not believe me?" And I'm like, "No, I have no question. Like, I'm not questioning you. I just said okay." And he's like, yeah, I've had experts in Chicago tell me that that's why ghosts love me, and ghosts love me. And he keeps going on and on, being like, "Don't you believe me?" And I'm like, "I don't have an opinion, sir. I met you 2 seconds ago. And also, if I'm being slightly dismissive, it's because this is not pertinent to my job." But I'm trying my best to be polite. I'm like, "Okay, well, yeah, I'm not not questioning you." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm just trying to be polite." And then he holds out his hand for me to shake and introduces himself. And I introduce myself and shake his hand because I am trying to be polite. And he's like, "Whoa, your hands are so cold." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's raining." And he's like, "Well, I can warm them up for you." And he sort of reaches for my hand again, and I sort of pull it away, like, And I was just like, "Sir, I'm at work." And he was like, "Yeah, and?" And I'm like, "And I'm at work. I'm not sitting here looking for someone to warm my hands." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I know. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. Don't you believe me?" And he will not stop. And I'm just like, "Oh my God, sir." And like, I'm being like, "Okay, well, sir, I am at work. I need to get back to waiting for my guests." And he's like, "Oh, well, I might be a guest. Like, how do you book the tour?" And I'm like, "You go online." And he interrupts me to be like, "Oh, I can't buy anything online. I've had my identity stolen. The IRS knows who I am. The FBI knows who I am." And goes on and on and on. And I'm like, yep. Not what I was actually going to tell you to do. I was telling you to go online to get the phone number for our office to call and book tickets. And he's like, "Can't I pay cash?" And I'm like, "You can, but," and I was going to say you still need to call the office, because also at this point I am 90% sure this guy is high on something, and I don't want him on the tour, and I'm hoping that the office can do the polite thing of telling him no. But luckily at that point, another couple walk up, and I'm like, "Oh, these I'm pretty sure are my guests. Give me a minute, sir, while I can sign them in, and I'll come back to you." And he's like, "How much are the tickets?" And I'm like, "It's $37. And I turn back to my guests and I sign them in, and sure enough, they are my guests. And we do the whole rigmarole of signing them in, telling them to go to the bathroom, all this jazz. And when I turn back, dude is gone. Like, so far away, I'm having trouble spotting his umbrella down the street. And I'm like, "Cool. Thanks." So yeah, this is just me as a tour guide reminding you that your tour guide is at work. They are a captive audience. If they are greeting strangers, it's because they're trying to find their guest, not because they're trying to find a date. And also, just flirting with them is a wee little bit inappropriate because we can't do what I would prefer to do in that situation. If I was not at work, I would have just said, I'm not interested, and left it at that.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to share your own experiences in the comments below.